I was the legitimate firstborn daughter of the king of the north. After my mother's death, my aunt married the king of the south and became his queen consort. She brought me to her court, raising me beside her own sons. The southern king adored me. He would seat me upon his knee and gesture toward the princes, laughing lightly. When Hazel comes of age, whichever prince she chooses as her husband shall inherit this throne of the south. Stay here, child. The south could be your home. In my previous life, I chose the crown prince Ethan. I stood beside him during the War of Succession. I funded his armies with northern gold. I silenced rival lords. I secured the throne for him. And when he was crowned king, he repaid me with imprisonment in the White Tower, and an order signed in his own hand. The north burned. The court was purged. Before I was forced to take my own life, he came to watch. If not for you, he said coldly, Ava would still be alive. She died alone while I could not even mourn her. You will suffer tenfold. The North falls because of you. Their blood is your dowry. Then I died. When I opened my eyes again, I was seated once more in the great hall. The king was smiling. Hazel, today you will choose your husband. The princes stood before me. This time, I did not look at Ethan. I pointed instead to the queen's third son. I will marry Alexander. And this time, I would decide who burns. Chapter 1. My aunt watched me carefully and nodded to a chamberlain, who stepped forward and placed a slender gold circlet in my hands, the king's token of choice. Hazel, she said gently, her voice carrying through the hall, give this to the man you wish to marry. The king laughed, warm and indulgent. Yes, whomever Hazel favors, I shall grant her hand with my full blessing. Let the realm celebrate. The great hall was filled with princes, high lords of the council, noble matrons, and the daughters of the most powerful houses in the south. As a northern-born princess raised in the southern court, my marriage was more than a personal matter. Whoever claimed me would gain an alliance strong enough to tilt the balance of the crown itself. I descended the steps slowly, the gold circlet cool in my palm. Polite smiles followed me. No one doubted my choice. Everyone knew I had adored Crown Prince Ethan since childhood. Choosing him was expected. Ethan, however, did not look pleased. He frowned and shifted back a step. Among the gathered ladies stood Ava Miller, the daughter of a minor but rising noble house. Tears shimmered in her eyes, trembling but not yet falling. I moved past the first prince, then the second. Ethan's expression hardened into open distaste. Beside him stood my cousin, Prince Alexander, the queen's third son, watching me with a quiet smile. As our eyes met, something softer flickered there, an almost imperceptible sigh hidden beneath courtly composure, as though he already anticipated the disappointment he believed I was about to choose for myself. Only that morning he had leaned against the carved mantel in my aunt's solar, arms folded, studying me with that same mixture of amusement and concern. You do have eyes, Hazel. Must you always chase a man who barely looks at you? You could choose my brother instead. With your standing, why beg for indifference? He had laughed then, careless and warm. And yet, in my previous life, when I was condemned, it was Alexander who rode from the northern border without rest, driving his horses to collapse beneath him. He arrived too late. He knelt before my coffin for 3 days and 3 nights, refusing food, refusing sleep. I failed you, he had whispered hoarsely. I should have stopped this marriage, even if it meant defying the crown. I should have saved you. I blinked away the memory. Beside Alexander stood the second prince, composed and detached. His mother had once been the king's acknowledged mistress, and though he was raised within the palace, he understood the limits of his claim. He neither fought nor schemed. The throne was never truly within his reach. The hall held its breath as I lifted the circlet. I stepped toward the princes. Before I could place it in anyone's hands, Ethan suddenly strode forward and dropped to one knee. Your Majesty, he said, voice ringing clear through the chamber, I beg you to release me from this honor. My heart already belongs to another. He turned slightly, reaching toward Ava without touching her. Lady Ava Miller is the woman I love, he continued without hesitation. Our devotion is neither fleeting nor shallow. No one but her will ever be my wife. Chapter 2. Ava Miller's father was nothing more than a junior royal clerk attached to the king's archives, a respectable position but far beneath the rank required for his daughter to stand in the great hall on a day such as this. Her presence was tolerated for one reason alone, the favor of the crown prince. The moment Ethan spoke, the chamber erupted in murmurs. Ava lowered her eyes, color blooming delicately in her cheeks as though modesty itself had chosen her as its vessel. She stepped forward and sank gracefully to her knees. Your Majesty, she said, her voice trembling but clear, His Highness honors me beyond my worth. I love him sincerely. If I may remain at his side, I ask for nothing more, not title, not rank, only the privilege of being near him. Ethan turned toward her and took her hand without hesitation, lifting his chin as he faced the throne. Father, I will not see Ava diminished. I love her, and I will take no other wife. If I marry, it will be her and her alone. A heavy silence fell. Ethan, the king said slowly, disappointment hardening his voice, do you understand the weight of what you are saying? The queen's gaze moved to Ava, cool and unamused. The daughter of a minor clerk aspiring to become the lawful wife of the heir apparent bordered on absurdity. The king looked between his son and me before speaking with deliberate restraint. Today is Hazel's choosing, he said coldly. As for whatever understanding you believe you have formed, it may be discussed another day. Ethan rose to his feet, defiance blazing across his features. I will not marry Hazel. I regard her as a sister and nothing more. If she insists upon such a union, then let the court hear me clearly. I would never share my bed with her. My heirs will be born of Ava alone. He did not stop there. His gaze shifted toward me, not uncertain. As for Hazel, he continued coolly, she may remain within my household, should she choose to. A royal mistress, perhaps. It would suit her better than a crown she cannot truly claim. Gasps rippled across the hall. The king surged upright, fury unmistakable. I stepped forward before his anger could ignite the chamber further. Your Majesty, I said evenly, there is no cause for unrest. Without hesitation, I placed the golden circlet into Alexander's hands. He blinked, amusement still lingering in his expression before it shifted into something far more serious as I entwined my fingers with his. I have made my choice, I said calmly. I will marry Prince Alexander. For a heartbeat, Ethan stared at us in stunned silence. Then relief flooded his face and he drew Ava protectively to his side. You see, he murmured to her, loud enough for all to hear, no one stands between us now. I told you I would marry only you. The king and queen exchanged a look heavy with regret. Ethan, the queen asked quietly, are you certain? No decree has been signed. There is still time. I am certain, he replied without hesitation. I will marry Ava. Later, as I departed the palace, I encountered them beneath the archway of the outer gate where Ethan had escorted Ava to her carriage. He regarded me with open contempt. I told you long ago I would never marry you. At least today you spared yourself humiliation. He stepped closer, lowering his voice as though offering charity. If you regret this, once Ava and I are wed, I might persuade my mother to grant you a place within my household. You would have a title, of course, though not a wife's right. I have given Ava my word. She alone will bear my children. Ava leaned against him, her cheeks flushed. Your Highness, please, she murmured softly, though she did not withdraw her hand from his. Then she looked at me with careful timidity. Hazel, I never wished to wound you. I only wanted to choose for myself once in my life. You do not resent me, do you? Ethan drew her closer. Do not trouble yourself. No one will dare oppose you while I stand beside you. One day you will be queen, and all, including Hazel, will bow before you.